Hey guys, it's Corky here with another video, and today I'm going to be predicting the 2023 NFL awards, so let's jump right in. Alright, so the way we're going to be doing this video is basically to be predicting a mix of real-life NFL awards along with some made-up ones. So first off, we'll be doing the real-life ones. The first award is going to be Comeback Player of the Year, and then we're going to work our way up to MVP. The way I will be doing the Comeback Player of the Year award will be a little different than real life, where here it only applies to players returning from injury, which is probably how it should be in real life, even though I still love my guy Geno Smith. So the player I believe is actually going to win Comeback Player of the Year this year in 2023 is Kyle Pitts. He did have a really good rookie season with just over 1,000 yards, and he's probably the most physically ridiculous player to come to the league since DK Metcalf. He's big enough to be an NBA small forward, and he's faster than an average NFL wide receiver. People shit on him just because of how bad he was at fantasy in his rookie season, because he only scored one touchdown, and he did have a high yards per reception. But it's hard to imagine just this beast of a human being not having another amazing season. The next award I'm going to be doing is Defensive Rookie of the Year. I feel like my pick isn't a huge shock or a hot take, and it's just going to be Will Anderson Jr. Coming into a team that is so honestly awful, I can't believe that he is probably already the best player on that defense. The Texans are basically like when you create a team in Madden and make them awful and you have to build your way back up, except they have been trying to build their way back up for the last 20 years. Next up, I have the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I really wanted to give it to a quarterback, but Will Levis is playing like a Make-A-Wish kid in training camp, and the three first quarterbacks taken are all walking into shit shows. So I think the award will probably be between a running back or wide receiver, and I think Bijan will win it. But that does not mean I like the pick by the Falcons at all. They came into 2023 season with the worst receiving core in football after trading Calvin Ridley, and a defensive line consisting of Eddie Goldman, who didn't play in 2020 or 2022, Grady Jarrett, who just came off the two worst seasons of his career, a guy that switched positions 4 times throughout his career, a 36-year-old, and they still decided to take a running back when Jalen Carter, possibly the most talented player in the class, was on the board. And it was a season after their breakout rookie Tyler Algier rushed for 1,000 yards and almost 5 yards per carry. Anyway, next up is Offensive Player of the Year. I feel like this is a pretty obvious one as well. This guy had almost 300 more receiving yards and almost 20 more receptions. They, of course, did this after signing an absolutely meaty contract, and I'm sure you already know who I'm talking about, and that's Christian Kirk. I'm going to be honest, I really thought he was getting overpaid, but he absolutely proved me wrong, and frankly, I am absolutely joking. It is obviously Justin Jefferson. Cooper Kupp staying healthy is a threat, but Justin Jefferson had 1,400 yards in his rookie season and still manages to improve literally every single year. Now for Defensive Player of the Year, and I absolutely have to give this one to an edge rusher, as only one player in the last 10 years has won DPOY that isn't an edge rusher, and my pick for this award is Chris Jones. Now I know this is a hot take, but he just had the greatest season of his career, and he has always been very good. He is super underappreciated because he is a defensive tackle, but last year he had 15.5 sacks and 17 tackles for loss. You also have to keep in mind that the sack record for a defensive tackle is only 18.5 sacks, making Chris Jones' season even more impressive. The next award will be Coach of the Year. Last year was Brian Daboll for bringing what was supposed to be a terrible Giants team to the playoffs and resurrecting Danny Dimes' career. Another coach that has been doing that while also leading his team to the kneecap-biting promised land, Dan Campbell. I'm guessing the Lions make the playoffs despite their awful draft picks, so that is my Coach of the Year. And now, the award everyone has been waiting for, MVP. My prediction for MVP is Josh Allen. He has started getting disrespected lately as his numbers have been going down for the past 3 years, but he is still a top 3 quarterback and is still putting up great stats. His interception total is a little higher than I would like it, but if he can still get back to his 2020 form, which should be an MVP contender with 4,500 passing yards, 500 rushing yards, and 37 touchdowns to only 10 picks. And if he can do all of that while still putting up his rushing totals he has had the last 2 seasons, about 700 yards and 8 touchdowns, he for sure will be an MVP. Now we're going to jump into my own awards that I invented for the second half of this video. The made-up awards I will be predicting are the most improved player, the most disappointing player, the most surprising team, the best offensive line, and the biggest dumpster fire of a team. First off, for the most improved player, my prediction is Russell Wilson. I know he's easy to hate right now, but it's hard to imagine a player that has been so consistently one of the best all-around QBs in the league suddenly just drops off the face of the earth. Even with his terrible season last year, out of guys that have been in the league for more than 5 years, he is second all-time in passer rating. And you have to keep in mind this year, the Broncos are going from literally one of the worst head coaches of all time to Sean Payton, an awesome coach with a career 152-89 record and a Super Bowl ring. Now, for the most disappointing player, my pick is Brock Purdy. I know people like him, but you watch him play, and I honestly don't think he's above the average QB skill set. I know people are praising him like the second coming of Jesus Christ, but like I said last video, he only played 6 games, and he was on one of the best teams in football. They had, I would say, the best defense in the league, the best receiving running back in the league, a top 3 tight end, an incredible offensive line, and great receivers. To me, I don't even know if he will stay the starter the whole season, much less play like the Tom Brady-like expectations on him. We're going a little bit out of order, but the next award is the best offensive line, which was actually a real award given out until 2011 called the Madden Award, but we're going to be bringing it back for this season. And this is a pretty easy pick, and it's going to go to the Eagles. They have at least one future Hall of Famer in Jason Kelce, but even besides him, it is filled with talent. They have good veteran presence in Kelce and Lane Johnson, but also some young studs in Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson. The next award is going to be the most surprising team, and I'm going right back to the Broncos, baby. I think a lot of people are still doubting Russ and the Broncos, even with the addition of Sean Payton, but I do believe that they will be a playoff contender, despite being in the best division in football. I really like Javonte Williams, and I am seeing reports that he will be back in time for Week 1. I also do like the receiving corps. Jerry Jeudy is improving every year, and Courtland Sutton is a very solid number 2. Even though losing Bradley Chubb hurts, they still have a great secondary, and I do believe they can fight for a playoff slot. And now, for the biggest dumpster fire of a team, my pick is the Carolina Panthers. I think they're really hit or miss this year. They traded away 2 of their very best players in CMC and DJ Moore. Obviously, Bryce Young is a huge improvement for quarterback, but other than the trade up for first overall, they didn't really make many massive splashes in free agency. They brought in Miles Sanders and Adam Thielen, who is a good player but hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2018 and is already 32. Besides him, the other notable signing they made was DJ Chark, who is a good number 2 when healthy, but he's never been healthy. He has never started a full season in his career, and I doubt he's just going to start now. The remaining best players are J.C. Horn, Von Bell, Brian Burns, Derek Brown, and Dante Jackson, which is a great defense on paper, but only 1 out of those 5 has played in all 17 games last year. Alright, anyway, that's going to about wrap up my award predictions for next year. I really hope you enjoyed, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.